Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and welcome back to a game of throws in a world of warships. Season 7. I have to admit, the Season 6 finale, it wasn't really a throw. It was a great match, but it wasn't really a throw. It was just one team outperforming the other, right when they absolutely needed to. This one, however, as well as being a great match, is also 100% guaranteed, gemmed it, no shit, a throw. As I'm sure you will all agree once you have seen it. It's also the kind of throw that any strategy fans out there might even be able to see coming. And yet, which is going to be surprising, in that this match is going to get thrown by probably the last person that you would expect it to be. But I've already said too much. So, where are we, what's happening, and who's doing it? This, in the Japanese Tier 10 heavy cruiser, the Zhao, in this domination battle on the trap map, is Bojo. Oh, hang on a minute. Bojo? Don't tell me Boris Johnson plays World of Warships. Surely a coincidence. Anyway, so Bojo here in the Zhao. You know, I've always liked this ship. And I always get confused about its origin, because I know it wasn't the original Japanese Tier 10 cruiser, but I cannot remember what the original one actually was. I think it was called the Senjin, or something like that. And there was, during a special event very, very early on in the game's development, when whatever the original Tier 10 Japanese heavy cruiser was got shit-canned, and the Zhao was put into the game to replace it. And yet, and again, my recollection of the actual events is a little bit cloudy, but I'm fairly sure that it wasn't so much a case of one ship replacing the other as just the original ship getting its name changed, because I don't think there were any differences between the Senjao, which I'm pretty sure is the ship that the Zhao replaced, and the Zhao. So what was the point? Anybody who can actually remember what happened, please feel free to educate us all in the comments. But anyway, the Zhao. I think I've seen theories that because Japanese heavy cruisers are named after mountains, but the Senjao was a mountain, although the Zhao is a volcano, and given this ship's ability to set fires, that might have had something to do with it. But, you know, your guess is as good as mine. And I have always liked this ship, despite it being generally considered a bit of an underperformer. Ooh, more on that in a moment. That's really bad. It could be worse. That's the St. Vincent. That's the British Tier 10 battle cruiser, with some seriously big guns, but it did just shoot. So, and it looks like Bojo has decided he has the time to execute a turn and angle away against it before it reloads. Now, I can't remember what the St. Vincent's reload is, but it does kind of look like he has judged wisely. But it is definitely going to reload soon. And just because it doesn't have a broadside to shoot at, doesn't mean it can't hurt him. These are 18-inch armor piercing shells. Oof, yeah, well, that could have been a lot worse. That was some good decision-making by Bojo there. Now, the St. Vincent is out of the range of his torpedoes, but that extremely suspicious and angry-looking smoke screen is not. I don't think either of the enemy destroyers have been spotted yet, so that could be the daring. It could... Wait, it's firing armor piercing. The ammunition choice and the rate of fire, and the fact that it's firing guns at all, indicates that it's probably the daring. As for that St. Vincent, I do not believe he is going to be a threat for too much longer, because... Oh, yep, torpedoes come from the smoke screen. The number and speed of the torpedoes doesn't help. They're kind of slow. That might be the Benham and the Daring in that smoke screen. But anyway, the St. Vincent over there is pretty much doomed, because even if he does have the backup of both of his team's destroyers in that smoke screen, Bojo has the backup of a Wisconsin, a Duncan, and a Napoli, and they're all focusing down that St. Vincent. And while it has powerful guns, it's a battle cruiser, not a battleship. It doesn't have the armour to withstand this kind of punishment. However, since Bojo's team don't have any destroyers over here doing any spotting, and the friendly carrier is occupied elsewhere, that St. Vincent can easily survive this. All he has to do is stop shooting. Oh, he did. Unfortunately for the St. Vincent, that final salvo sets a fire. And his damage control's on cooldown. And that fire's going to kill him. So he obviously decides, screw it, in for a penny, in for a pound. I'm going to die anyway. Let's at least try to take somebody with me. And that's what seals his fate. And in the process, gives Bojo his first kill. And then the team immediately follow up with the kill on the enemy Izumo. Although, yeah, that did cost them a Bismarck. And then, plot twist, that's not the Daring, that's the Minotaur. Hang on, how the hell is he spotted? Is that... Oh, he's air spotted. Right, yeah, the Enterprise has sent dive bombers over. I was thinking, how the hell did that guy get spotted through a smoke screen with nobody on the flank to see him? And that's when I spotted the dive bombers. So that's kind of unfortunate for the Minotaur with the Wisconsin, a Napoli, a Zhao, and... did I miss something? Oh yeah, a Duncan. And possibly a Valparaiso shoot. He's going to want to stop shooting fast. Yes. Sanity prevailed there and the Minotaur went undetected. Yet... I think we know where the Benham is. Yeah. In other news, things are not going particularly well elsewhere on the map, with the enemy team controlling the cap circles at Charlie and Bravo and just sinking the team's radar cruiser, the Talon. Although the Talon's torpedoes did manage to take an enemy ship down with him, and Bojo here pinging the map. Desperately trying to alert the Napoli over there to the torpedo threat posed by the Benham, and the Napoli acknowledging it, and yeah, I think he knows. And that is a significant threat, actually. I mean, the Daring is elsewhere, but the presence of the Benham, even it's the only enemy ship on this flank, because I've been in exactly these kind of circumstances myself as a Benham. The last ship left alive, holding down an entire flank with half of the enemy team trying to push in my direction. And this thing's ability to flood the sea with walls of skill, even if it doesn't hit and sink anything, just the threat of the torpedoes keeps you manoeuvring, and that slows you down. So a Benham is entirely capable, there it is again, of occupying an entire flank and basically buying time for the rest of its team to win the game. I mean, that manoeuvre just slowed the Valparaiso down. Even if it didn't take a torpedo hit, the Napoli's been manoeuvring to avoid torpedoes, and Bojo here has now decided screw that, and he's putting an island between himself and any possible future torpedoes from the Benham. So even though the Benham, I don't think, has actually hit anything, it's still doing its job. Team have just lost to Shimakaze, so the kills are now even, but the enemy team have a small points lead by virtue of having 2 of the 3 cap circles. Oh, the Minotaur just got respotted. Oh, that's not going to end well for him. That is not going to end well at all. He had the hit points to take it and then go unspotted earlier. He doesn't now. Duncan finishes him off. So that's a 1 kill advantage, but, well, I mean, when the enemy team have more cap circles than you do, getting kills just means you're playing catch-up. I mean, there's nothing wrong with getting kills. Get enough of them after all, and it doesn't matter how many cap circles the enemy team have. You're still going to win. But getting kills and taking caps is better than just getting kills. Unless you can get all of the kills. But getting caps is safer. And they've just lost their Schroeder, pushing the enemy team even further ahead, but they're now contesting, thanks to the Jaeger over there, and shortly, thanks to Bojo too, they're now contesting this central cap, so the enemy team no longer have the points. Well, they do have the points lead, but they don't have the points gain advantage from holding 2 of the 3 cap circles. And things are not looking too good for the Petro over there, who's probably going to want to fall back, go undetected, and start licking his wounds. Is he going to do that? Can he do that? I don't see any reason why he could. Ah, there was the Benham. Oh yeah, the Talon was yelling at the Enterprise in chat to go and spot... Well, wasn't yelling, but was asking the carrier in chat to spot the Daring up at Charlie. It's not that the carrier was ignoring the Talon's request, but he had other things to do. He was busy spotting the Benham, and did in fact succeed in spotting the Benham. Unfortunately, they're both at different ends of the map, so, you know, he can't be everywhere at once. Ironically, that's actually the only good thing that came out of the carrier rework. The ability for a carrier to be everywhere at once, controlling multiple squadrons and spotting multiple cap circles and so on and so on. They can't actually do that anymore. Hooray for small mercies. So Bojo's attempting to tuck in behind this island in order to avoid taking... Ooh, torpedoes. Wait. Does that thing... I know very little about the battleship that he's currently facing, the Gustav den Stora. I originally didn't even know whether it was Swedish or... It is Swedish, but I thought it might have been Dutch based on its name alone. I have since come to understand that the name Gustav den Stora basically means Gustav the Great, and is a reference to the Swedish king, of the same name, who actually a fairly prominent European leader during the 1600s. He was the Swedish king responsible for transforming Sweden from a, well, simply a regional Baltic power to a European superpower. But I couldn't figure out when I first saw the ship, because I knew nothing about it other than its name, whether it was Swedish or Dutch. Because I mean, the Gustav part, I'm sure that's Swedish, but Den Stora, that sounds Dutch. But no, it just means the great in Swedish, so. But I don't know whether or not that thing has torpedoes. I mean, it's yet another new ship in the game, and I've just given up trying to keep track. So maybe it's a battleship with torpedoes, and maybe the Daring's over there. I don't know. Hopefully Bojo does. But if it does, it's not launching torpedoes at him or anybody else from there. Now he's still air spotted. Alright, he's gone undetected. There were some torpedoes hit the Duncan there, but I'm pretty sure they were airdropped. So the Daring could still be a threat. Right now, of course, he's absolutely 100% preoccupied in shooting up the Brandenburg without getting respotted, because he's managed to pop a heel, but old Gustav gave him a merry spanking. So he doesn't really have the health to be able to risk trading against a Brandenburg. That's the Daring. You can tell by the rate of fire. I know it's the Daring because the Minotaur's been sunk. I'm not going to make that mistake twice. Oh, and the Gustav has been sunk by the Wisconsin. Okay. Right, he's going to get air spotted here. There's nothing he can do about it. But the dive bomber shouldn't last forever. And he's gone undetected. And he actually scored some hits on the Daring in that smokescreen. 3 penetrations. Okay, they're all blind firing at him now, but it's painfully accurate. Oh wait, no. Hang on. Spotted. And why did the Daring stop shooting? The only reason the Daring would have stopped shooting is because its smokescreen's expiring and it wants to get the hell out. Yeah, there it goes. Sadly for the Daring, he outstayed his welcome in that smokescreen, giving the Enterprise time to get torpedo bombers overhead. You know what? This carrier's done a really, really good job in this game of destroyer spotting, which is incredibly bad news for the Daring, of course. If that had been the Benham, he'd be dead. But it's not the Benham, it's a Daring, and it's got that incredibly short cooldown, but short duration smokescreen generator, so he might actually get away with this. Yep, I mean he's on fire, but it's a destroyer fire. Unless you're on very low health, it's not going to kill you. More shots out of the Brandenburg. He's air spotted at the moment. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. No longer air spotted. He's now surface spotted. He doesn't even wait for his spider sense to start tingling. Instantly pops the hydro, just as the team lose both the Valparaiso and the Duncan. He was spotted there. It's not the Brandenburg, it's on the other side of the mountain. It can't be the Daring. I mean, it could be the Daring. It might have left the smokescreen and now be spotting. But I'm pretty sure there are shots coming out of that smokescreen. So it's not the Daring spotting him. That means it must be the Benham. The Wisconsin finishes off the Brandenburg. Yeah, you can see Bojo's head on a swivel here. He's trying to figure out where the Benham is going to be spotting him from, while also paying attention for any torpedoes sneaking up on him. The team are still behind on points, despite having the cap advantage, but again, you know, there's not that much of a points difference. This has been a very, very close match. That is definitely the Benham spotting him. Actually, it could be the Daring spotting him now, because that Daring smokescreen isn't going to last forever. And there's now somebody flipping that central cap at Bravo. This is the opposite of good news. Talon in chat telling everyone it's game over. I mean, it's not looking good, but they haven't lost it yet. Bojo confirming to everybody that he was being spotted by the Benham and begging the carrier, because he doesn't have the hit points to do it, to spot targets in the cap circle. And once again, the carrier rising to the occasion, heading over there with the dive bombers. He's spotted the Petro. No sign of the Benham though. Oh, there's the Daring. Oh, and he's gone undetected. Bojo's manoeuvring to get an island between himself and the Petro's guns. A couple more hits might finish that Daring off. It's going to be worth the risk. He's managed to go undetected as well. Good stuff. Again, carrier doing a great job. Those shots missed the Daring. Remember, British destroyer smoke, very short duration. The Daring doesn't have all day to sit in there, and, well, it didn't need all day to sit in there and farm kills. It's taken out the Tempesta. Is he now going to bug out, try to get out of there? Or is he going to outstay his welcome again? Because while Bojo is spotted by the enemy carrier, that's not going to last forever. There it goes. And it wasn't even the smoke dissipating. He did bug out early. He just bugged out with the Wisconsin right in front of him, while presumably his torpedoes were on cooldown. Or maybe the Wisconsin just didn't even give him time to launch them. Either way, the Wisconsin takes the kill on the Daring, but the enemy team have flipped that central cap at Bravo, and are now a solid 100 points ahead, as well as 1 kill. And the carrier, once again, rises to the occasion and doing what spotting he can, while the Wisconsin, of all things, is about to slip into the cap circle at Charlie and deny the enemy team the flow of points from controlling 2 of the 3 cap circles. Realistically, the only thing on the enemy team that can stop the Wisconsin from doing that is the enemy carrier. Even more realistically, while carriers in this game are capable of doing a lot of things, way too many, way too well if you ask me, one of those things is not controlling cap circles, so I don't think the Wisconsin is going to be having too many problems in that regard. It is at this point, with slightly more than 4 minutes remaining in the battle, where Bojo makes a fateful prediction in chat. The Benham will go for Alpha. And that is absolutely 100% not just the safe, but also the smart thing to do, because they might be at 931 points. They might have a 1 kill advantage, but they no longer have the double cap circle advantage. The Lexington has just managed to sink the Petropavlovsk, so they no longer enjoy the 1 kill advantage, although it hasn't cost the enemy team too much in the way of points. They're back up to 918. They still have the points lead. It's just slightly narrower than it was before, but Bojo here is about to either take or contest the central cap at Bravo, which will leave the enemy team stuck at around 900, well, depending on when he gets in there, 930? Maybe 933? 933 points. Okay, 973 points because they sank the Lexington, but that's it. That's all they're going to get. They no longer have points coming in from cap circles. Bojo's team control 2 of them because the Benham still hasn't flipped the cap at Alpha. And yet the Benham is also not spotting the cap at Bravo, allowing Bojo here to flip it completely uncontested. He's waiting. That was perfect timing. Managed to get himself behind the island so the Montana couldn't see him. And despite the Lexington being sunk by the Montana over there, he's still using its aircraft wisely. That's not Bojo doing the spotting there, that's the Lexington. The cap circle at Alpha has now just started to be flipped, so now we know exactly where the Benham is. Day late and a dollar short, there's 2.5 minutes of this battle left to go. It's going to take him another 30 seconds to finish flipping that cap, but that does mean that Bojo knows he doesn't have to worry about the Benham. It is elsewhere, it's not able to spot him, it's not able to torpedo him. They are now behind by a mere 53 points. And although the enemy team do have a 1 kill advantage, they have no cap circles. So Bojo's team are continuing to climb ahead, while the enemy team are not until the Benham finishes flipping that cap at Alpha. Or unless somebody makes a massive error of judgment and gets themselves spotted and sunk. And it's probably not going to be the Wisconsin. I mean, he's weathering some air attacks from the Shikaku. But if anybody's going to screw up here, it's going to be Bojo. If he gets spotted by that Montana, he's a dead man. Which is why he's using his torpedoes, not his guns, and doing what the Zhao is very, very good at, kiting away from angry battleships. There are now 1 minute and 30 seconds of this battle remaining. The enemy team have the cap at Alpha. They are at 988 points, 991. Bojo's team are catching up. But if the Montana can get into this cap circle, the enemy team will win it. They are 2 points behind. They need to get ahead. They're up 1 point ahead. There it is. 3 points. Or exactly 1 tick of 1 possession of 1 cap circle, and the enemy team would have had it. If only the Benham had gone for Alpha, well, 3 seconds earlier, or any point in the 2 minutes that he had to get into that cap circle right after Bojo said, yeah, the Benham's going to be flipping the cap at Alpha. As it is, I have no idea what the Benham was doing in the last 4 minutes of that battle, because he wasn't doing any spotting. Bojo was unspotted. The Montana was basically flying blind, while the Shikaku was busy trying to sink and failing to sink the Wisconsin. And the Benham wasn't flipping any caps until it was way too late. Certainly did nothing in the 2 minutes between Bojo predicting that the Benham was going to flip the cap and the cap actually starting to be flipped, which is really, really surprising because the Benham was the best player on the enemy team. And yet he totally dropped the ball in the last 4 minutes. I don't know, maybe the pressure of trying to be everywhere and do everything at once finally got to him, because up until that point he played an incredibly good game. It's understandable, but either way, the Benham definitely fumbled the ball on that one and allowed Bojo and the Wisconsin to clutch the win by a mere 3 points in the last minute of the match. Hope you all enjoyed it, and as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.